Hello, and welcome to Magic Meets Melanin Podcast. I'm your host, Bree, and if you're listening, you're probably looking to dip your toes in a fantasy or you're on the hunt for your next TBR. Either way, welcome. This show was created as a way to encourage and help Black women explore the genre of fantasy. Each episode will be used to showcase different books within the genre, while also adding that bit of Black girl magic and flavor to the mix. You can look forward to honest reviews, music and drink pairings to heighten your reading experience, interviews and recommendations of fantasy books written by Black authors or featuring diverse characters, blind dates with book boyfriends, and more. Before we go further, I'd like to break down the genre of fantasy and what you can expect when reading it. The fantasy genre is a form of fiction that involves themes of magic, imaginary worlds, mythical and imaginary creatures, and even the supernatural. These themes comprise the foundation of the story, from the characters to the setting and the plot. So why read fantasy? Well, personally, I've found that this genre can be a great way to unplug and relax. Fantasy books have allowed me to go on daring adventures from the comfort of my couch and my pile of blankets. It also gets my creative juices flowing and inspires me to go out and live life. So how do you find your next adventure in a book? Well, personally, I would suggest looking for books related to the types of shows you enjoy. For example, if you enjoy murder, mystery, and crime shows, explore fantasy murder mystery novels. If you're into comedies and sitcoms with a bit of romance, try reading a romantic comedy fantasy. Another way that you can find a fantasy book that you'd enjoy is to visit your local library or bookstore. Oftentimes, the staff is very helpful in helping you find something that's in your unique niche. Now, keeping all that in mind, it can still be a bit overwhelming to choose a book. If you're still unsure of where to start, feel free to read what I'm reading or any of the books mentioned in today's or future episodes. Up next, more about my current read, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and why you need to pick this book up today. Ever wonder what it would be like to train for combat and ride a dragon? Well, the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros is something you should add to your TBR and move to the top, if it isn't already there anyway. Now, I know there might be some skepticism due to its trending nature, but believe me when I say the hype is well deserved. I'll be giving you an honest review of the first book in the series, Fourth Wing, where I provide a synopsis along with my personal thoughts on the book, some details regarding the theme and some tropes, as well as a rating. Alright, so here's the synopsis. 23-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the Scribe Quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now, the commanding general, also known as her toughest Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Nevere, Dragon Riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond with cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Rorson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge of her wits she can give. So, what are my overall thoughts? Well, Rebecca Yarros does an amazing job of using fantastical elements to create an immersive experience for her readers. I also love that the magic aspect and the magic system of how magic is used in this book is very easy to follow. I found in the past with certain fantasy novels it can be very convoluted and hard to grasp, especially for those who are new to fantasy. You don't have this issue with Fourth Wing, which makes it a very easy read to pick up if you want to dip your toes in the genre. In terms of characters, they are both diverse, ethically, and in social class. I also enjoyed the fact that Violet isn't your stereotypical, fearless female lead in a fantasy novel. In fact, she actually starts off pretty weak and she struggles with a disability, which is a chronic connective tissue disorder. So she's struggling to find her place in this new world and also struggling to get her body to do what she wants it to do. We see that she's injured quite frequently. However, she grows stronger throughout the course of this novel. And I don't know about you, but I actually really enjoy underdog stories. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that this is a romance book. However, romance isn't the key driving force behind the plot. So if romance isn't really your thing, you'll still enjoy it, and most of the romance takes place later on in the novel. I would also like to say that yes, there is some spice, so if you like spice, it's in there, it's towards the end, and if you don't, it's not much. So honestly, you could skip over those parts and still get the overall gist of the story. They don't really take away from anything. The most prominent themes in the book are that of love, adventure, self-discovery, death, and the forces between good and evil. Some familiar tropes within the novel include enemies to lovers, slow burn romance, morally gray men, and overall, I give Fourth Wing 5 stars. It's an incredible read. It takes you on an unforgettable journey. It's like an adrenaline rush in the form of a book. There are so many gasping moments and oh my gosh moments that leave you not only craving more, but wondering what will happen next. I felt that I got my money's worth with this book. I purchased the hardback copy, which runs for $29.99 plus tax. I also cannot wait to read the second book, which is already out, called Iron Flame, and the rest of the series, with book 3 dropping January 20th, 2025. Coming up next, why you should start annotating your books and my favorite tips to get you started. Let me guess. When you think of annotating, your mind conjures up those boring days of you in a classroom dissecting classic literature and Shakespearean plays. What if I told you it doesn't have to be that way, and that you could and probably should be annotating your entertaining reads? While the practice is used in an educational setting, many bookish people have picked up the practice, and honestly, I myself found it helpful and fun. If you still need convincing, statistics and studies have shown that annotating text allows us to engage in active reading. This means instead of just taking the information in, we're engaging with it, thus increasing our understanding and comprehension of the book. It also aids in personalizing your reading experience and can help in recalling thoughts and feelings from those readings when you go back to beloved stories. Lastly, two of the most important benefits, in my opinion, are the ability to recall information read and increased critical thinking skills. So if you're one of those readers who devours pages and consumes books but can't recall details or key plot points, establishing an annotation habit could be just what you need. So where do you begin? Before going any further, I think it's important to note that your annotations don't have to be something super profound or deep or even a sentence. Oftentimes, mine are a single word and sometimes an emotive doodle face or just underlines and highlights. The annotations will essentially be personal notes to yourself along your reading journey. While annotations can be done with a simple pen and pencil, you can get creative with it. In fact, I encourage you to do so. There are so many ways that you can annotate, and it adds to the fun in my experience. Some of the basics you can look into are sticky note tabs, colorful gel pens, ballpoint pens, highlighters, stickers, and even washi tape. If you're just starting out, I would personally recommend a cute set of matching sticky tabs and a pencil. Pen is forever, but pencil isn't, so if you make a mistake trying to write, you can fix it up nicely. Before you start scribbling away, be sure to establish a basis for your annotating. Why are you annotating? This will help you in how you annotate your books. So if it's for fun or discussing the material later or to improve your understanding, that'll affect the types of annotations you make or little notes you make to yourself. I personally do it for fun and to discuss books with others. By annotating my books, I'm able to better recall information and can easily get back to and find those cherished moments that I want to discuss so badly with a friend or other readers. When it comes to the way I annotate, because I'm a bit type A and just because I love the aesthetic, I often choose to use sticky notes and tabs that match the cover of the book I'm reading. I also take notes on those tabs with a pen or pencil. With my secondhand books, I'm a little bit more lenient with myself. I will do the same thing, however, I'll also write directly on the pages. For those books that I annotate heavily, I like to create a key and assign specific markings. For example, if I learn a new word, I'll underline it in red, and that's noted on my key. If I really enjoyed a scene, I'll star it or add a sticky tab of a certain color. For instance, blue. And on my key, I'll write, blue means love it. I tend to keep the key on a large sticky note in the front of the book. So let's say I finished the book years ago and I want to go back. I can make new notes and also see what I thought the first time around reading it. Also, for my non-hard copy girlies, yes, I see you, e-readers. You can still annotate on your beloved Kindle or whatever e-reader you use. You can even do it on your phone app, at least with some of them. I do it all the time and I love going back and looking at my notes and just revisiting my favorite moments in my favorite books. Remember, at the end of the day, annotating is a personal and unique experience that can aid in making you a stronger reader. Make it your own. See where the journey takes you. Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every other Tuesday. You can listen to the Magic Meets Melanin podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Until next time, book babes. Ciao.